So the first tenet is truth is not given, it is pursued.
Mm.
So, and that I think goes for everybody individually. We have to pursue what is true, what you want to live your life as real, and you want to experience the world as realistically as possible, I would think, if you value this life at all,
Right.
in my opinion. So with every tenet, I have a principle, I have a reflection, and I have a practice, a way you can practice it, and then also a question that you should ask yourself about that.
Okay,
cool.
So
when talking about truth is not given, it is pursued.
yeah.
All right, walk us through the
So
reflections.
a good example is that is religion, for example. They give you, this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that easy, is it?
Right.
Life isn't that easy. We have
Right.
to. You can't just walk up to somebody who's like, oh, okay, well, what they say is true, and that's a way of getting truth given, and then just accepting that, right?
Right.
No, you have to think about it, and the pursuit is critical thinking. Think about it. Like, what is that? How do
Yeah.
I notice my own biases? How do I notice my own fallacies in this thinking? That's the pursuit, in my opinion.
Okay.
I like
And then also on top of that, what science does, science seeks ways to find more truth.
Right.
It may not always be right at the time, but it is the best answer we have up until then,
that. Yeah.
right? So we keep evolving and growing. So so truth is, the way I wrote it down is, truth is not bestowed from above nor carved in stone. It is discovered, tested, revised, and it belongs to no one and invites everyone.
Yeah.
That is the principle of that.
I like that.
And then I'll just go to the question of it. So a way to practice that for yourselves: what belief do I hold most tightly, and when was the last time that I seriously questioned it?
Oh, yeah.
So that's like a practice to do it. Like, hey, can I think about something that I'm going to put to the test?
Yeah.
That's the practice, basically. of
Okay.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Any questions? No.
No, well, yeah, no. What?
Well, that last thing that you said, as far as when is the last time that I questioned it,
Yeah.
there's things on our side that we're very, very familiar with.
Sure.
Take Pascal's wager.
Yeah.
Right.
You and I were having an event the other night, and someone asked essentially that same thing.
Right, right.
Why don't you just believe for
Yeah.
play it safe, and then you responded to them and said, yeah, that's commonly known as Pascal's wager. And I think the next day, you and I were talking, and I was like, I think I might dig into that again just as a refresher to say, what are the problems that I see with that? And, but yeah, that was the last time that I kind of dug into something that we had just kind of,
Right.
Once we learned that, we just kind of take it for granted. Like,
Right.
oh, now I've answered that question. And we don't
I'm
think
definitely
of,
I'm
we don't
definitely
think
at
about
fault
it.
for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think we all are. Yeah.
it got brought up the other night, and so I said, I'm going to dig back into that one and just refresh. And
Yeah.
but that's what I was thinking of when you said that last thing. When is the last time that I questioned it or scrutinized it in any way?
And I think, especially if for us, like a lot of atheists, like we learn all the rebuttals and we learn all the, the good, like, we call it apologist rebuttals and all that. And, and we learn to recognize all the fallacies. But have you thought about how true is a fallacy really? Like how true is this rebuttal that I'm using?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of the time they're true because we all know that. But like, but it is good practice to come back to it, and just be like, okay, well, why do I think that? And how many of these things that I'm saying did I actually conclude for myself without having to, lean on somebody else's answer?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I know for me, I don't want to ever get to the point where I'm just reading from the script, so to speak.
Right.
I want to be actively listening. I don't want to be listening with the anticipation of responding and throwing answer number 17 at them because I know they don't have a response to it. I don't want to do that.
No, you want to genuinely be able to
I want to be present in
it.
the moment, and I want to be genuinely listening. And if there's a legitimate challenge, that I haven't considered, I want to consider that. And even if it is one that I've heard 1,000 times, I still want to hear that challenge from that person and the tone in which they're asking it.
Sure.
Because they may not be asking it in an accusatory tone or you don't have an answer for this kind of tone. They may be asking that question, like just the other night, out of genuine curiosity.
Yeah.
Just because we know that argument and have a label for it and all these things, they may have never been in a position to ask that question.
Yeah.
And so us giving them the pat answer and putting a label on it is not necessarily actually engaging with that person. And so
yeah, I think you're so right about that.
I want to be real in the conversations with them and present.
It's very tempting to say like, "Oh, are you using Pascal's wager? It's debunked."
Right.
Well, maybe it's better to just walk them through why.
Right.
Because like sometimes like, and I think a lot of people do that. I've seen you do that for sure, where you walk somebody through why Pascal say and wager doesn't work.
Right.
There's so many gods he didn't take it into account, for example, right? And like,
Right.